Hello and welcome everybody. This is your host, Lerahk, and you're just in time for an awkward LEGO Bionicle MoC showcase because we're reviewing today Lerahk. And I'm going to have to explain a little bit here. This is not a Self MoC. If I were to do a Self MoC, it would probably be a Matoran or a Toa. This is one of my first creations, Lerahk, one of my first custom Bionicle MoCs, right next to Kerolock and another which we'll get into later on. And I never intended on sharing the same name as him. It's just when it came time for me to have an internet persona, Lerahk just sounded like a good name to me. That said, we'll go ahead and get into Lerahk properly here. Like I said, this is one of my oldest figures I've had. Well, not figures, one of my oldest MoCs I've had. So much so that some of the pieces that are used in this are actually from the original. The head here, which if you look, you may be able to see a little bit like dust and dirt and stuff in it that I just haven't been able to get out yet. Scratches and nicks. This is the original head that I used for Lerahk originally. Same with the eye sock piece. The legs here are more or less original. Ignore that noise. Hold on. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Just had something drop. Something that I actually used for my recording here. But yeah. So the leg here is more or less one-to-one, as close to the original as I could keep. Most of the parts are original parts. I think with this leg, I've replaced the limb piece here that have been used as filler over the years. I've replaced the string over time as well. For the other leg, you can see there's a lot more color coordination with this. I haven't had the time to fix a lot of find the old limb pieces in the right colors. This one I've had to get a completely new leg panel for him because it didn't match. The original one didn't match. It was like the black Bohrak leg. The history behind making Lerahk look the way that he does, primarily with the legs, comes from wanting to do something else with the Bohrak than just have like a body for a spider, essentially. And so I started messing around within configurations and stuff, and I eventually came up with the bulky. I looked at it thinking armadillo-esque shell legs of Lerahk. That eventually became his legs, and that's that. I added the eye stalks recently, just to kind of give it some filled in a little bit. I didn't want to use clear ones, but they don't make solid dark green ones that will blend in with the body, with the legs as well. Originally, the idea with the legs was that they would store things inside them. So, like grab into his leg and pull out like a number of different items and tools. I think at one point I could actually fit inside of the leg a little squid eel things from the Toa Mari set that the bad guys had. Nowadays it's just part of his leg is just one solid piece in lore wise anyway. Doesn't really have any weapons aside from his fist and his claw things, his arm blade things, which aren't really weapons, they're more just natural parts of his body. Much like with Kerolock, he is not He's not a normal Rakshi built by Makuta. He's technically a creature from another universe. In fact, the same universe as Kerolock, because these two happen to be brothers. Lerahk is the older brother to Kerolock. So hence why they both have arm blades on them. I would have used the Visorak claws for Lerahk, except because of the way that they're positioned, one's angled back, one's angled forward, it just doesn't really work well. The design, like the front, they're a little too big. So for Lerahk, he happens to have smaller blades. As for his, let's probably get it before I go up, since we're working our way up. It has 3 Bohrak eye pieces up here, alternating colors. It's different from Kerolock, obviously. Kerolock uses the base design where it's just 1 piece going down. This is 3 on the side. I have, I'm looking at it here, I have one other that does the ones on their side, but we'll get into them actually in the next episode. I'm not going to mention names because I want to minimize spoilers. Even though I could mention the name and no one would guess what he is. Oh, actually that's not true. The name for him would be pretty on the nose for which color he's supposed to be, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Anyway, other than that, same kind of basic design as Kerolock with the little piece here. Let me see if I can. Grab one of these, this little piece here, set on its side like that. The top 2 Bohrak eyes slot through, I believe it's a 4-link axle in between all the to lock everything up. Put one on top, one at the bottom, put your eyes in there, and there you go, it's locked into place. Comes off just like the other Rahkshi. It has one little support piece right in the body there, which I was worried would be a problem, but so far it hasn't. I've had these guys fall down all over the place. One in particular, again, we'll get to him when we get to him, and they've been pretty sturdy. It's the one thing that hasn't broken on every single one of them, I'm surprised. But regardless, up here, let's go up here and look at and talk about the design of Lerahk's spine, his back. Bend them down a little bit so you can see them more easily. Originally, this was all supposed to be dark green, but as I've mentioned before, the size for Hero Factory armor piece here, that would be the back piece here, does not come in a dark green variant in America. See, in Europe, they got a set that was the same set that we got here in America, but the big difference is the version of the toy we got, the version of the set we got had the size 3, the smallest size armor pieces, as dark green in America, and in Europe they got the size 4 dark green. And I'm not about to pay like $20 shipping and handling just to get one or two of those pieces from a single store and wait 9 weeks for shipping. So yeah, not gonna happen. Honestly, looking at it now, I probably could have substituted the light green, the base green here for that, and it probably would have worked actually better, if not just as well, than dark green, especially considering how much different varying greens are on him. We got light green, we got lime green, we got olive green for the arm here, and would be olive green for this arm here, but we'll get into the reason why he has a crystal arm here. Yes, even back then, he was supposed to have a crystal arm, but due to limitations of parts at the time, we'll get into that in a second. There's a story reason why he has a crystal arm, and not just because I thought it looked cool. Though, granted, it is because I thought it looked cool. But anyway, so going back to what we're talking here, I went with the silver armor here, thinking it would be a nice neutral color for him, and it works out fairly well. Spines here, black and green, only color I could find in the right color, with the right color scheme for him. Works more or less just as fine. And yeah, so yeah, generally the same design as Kerolock, just different legs and different colors. Now let's get into the crystal arm here. I mentioned before I mentioned before I give a lot of characters crystal arms. Lerahk might have been the first one, and his in-story reason why he has it is because the universe he comes from, there's an alternate reality, alternate universe dimension called the spirit realm, and this is why it's kind of like the Dark World from Metroid Prime Echoes. Or it's like anyone that from our world that enters that world, it kind of like starts corrupting your body, like destroying, tearing your body apart and stuff like that. Similar to that. Actually, it's a lot of it's very similar to that. A lot of the Dark World in Metroid Prime Echoes is similar to my spirit world. Does Nintendo have hidden cameras in my house? Because I came up with that concept like years before Metroid Prime Echoes, I swear. But anyway, so something happened. I can't remember the exact details, but Lerahk had to lunge in to try to save someone or something, grab something. Actually, maybe he was in a fight with a spirit monster. It's been a long time since I've come up with a story, but either way. His arm got caught into the spirit world, and immediately the flesh and the muscle started like just being eaten away by the energy in the spirit world, and just burned and destroyed. And when he came out, pretty much all that was left that was in one piece were his bones, including his bone, his arm blade bone, which is technically supposed to be inside. Come out and grab up here, but the imitation with Lego. I think I mentioned that with Kerolock as well. Like we both have the same kind of thing going on. So he's either going to lose the arm, or they could try a new type of experimental crystal prosthetic. It'll be injected, like biocrystal would be injected into his muscle, his flesh, and kind of like rebuild those using a combination of the DNA that was in there that wasn't corrupted and the crystal growth properties. And so that's what ended up happening. In the actual story, or in the actual, if I were to actually have a actual drawing of him commissioned, the crystal arm, you'll see like the solid bone, and then like the muscle would be one color, probably blue in this case, and then the skin would be like a green skin to match his fur color. Similar to what you see right here. Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I think that's about everything I have to say on Lerahk. Again, not my Self MoC. Complete. This Lerahk and the Lerahk talking to you right now are two completely different characters. It is super weird having to talk about this right now. But yeah. Yeah, like I said, this is my first MoC. Obviously not the exact version we see here. I have his body somewhere. It's in storage right now. His remains of his body, because like I said, I transplanted most of his head and his legs over, making a few little changes here and there with that, just kind of matching it up a little better. But outside that, he's the exact same. just imagine the original version having the Rakshi body, and that's about it. And the old school Rakshi body, and that's about the only difference, really. Yeah. So yeah, this one was kind of special to me. Obviously for obvious reasons. But yeah. With that said, I think I'll go ahead and end the episode here. So I'll see you guys later.